Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I am George. We're all George. So tonight, I want to talk about Bitcoin and several other indicators, several other models that indicate that bottom is here. So let's get started. Smash it a like, subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit that notification bell to get notified of all my streams. Check me out on social media, CryptosRUs.com, and make sure you subscribe to the brand new CryptosRUs Clips channel. Welcome, 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 guys. Hopefully you guys are doing a little better. This morning, man, this morning was rough. Well, I thought it was okay, but man, the hate, the trolls, the fudsters out in full swing. Even though Bitcoin was at the same level it was yesterday, people were just not feeling it. But hopefully, you guys watching were not among them. And hopefully you're a little bit more encouraged because Bitcoin is a little bit higher, close back up to 30,000. And this is really a range that we've been stuck in for quite some time. So it's really not a surprise at this point. But man, this morning, just ton of hate. But yes, Bitcoin is coming up once again, a little bit higher than this morning. We are stuck in this channel between 31,000 and 28, 29,000, right? A lot of fear out there. Greed and fear index, which I don't even have pulled up, is still in extreme fear. And I've mentioned about when you have a clump of fear, when there are a lot of fearful people out there, that's usually when things turn around. Now, I did mention about this one big event that's happening this Friday, which is options and futures expiration. So that may have something to do with what we're seeing now, why price movement have not been moving, why Bitcoin has not been moving. So we will see after this Friday. But in the meantime, there are a lot of great things happening. So these are the things that I pay attention to. The goodness of Bitcoin, the growing adoption of Bitcoin, and the growing metrics of Bitcoin. And that's what I'm going to show more of tonight. All right, so Bitcoin is slowly again coming up to $30,000. Today, we did have the World Economic Forum held in Davos, Switzerland, I believe. And many people spoke, including Ray Dalio, which is one of the most wealthiest guys, but one of the most well-known guys. And you know what? He was asked about crypto. Ray Dalio has been on record saying that cash is trash. He's been saying it for years. And that's because he knows the Federal Reserve, what they're good for is inflating the dollar. Inflating, basically, well, the central banks around the world are all good at inflating their fiat, but especially the Federal Reserve, he's no fan of. And he believes that people are getting robbed, a silent tax on your money, on dollars, right? So he's been saying all along that inflation is out of control and it's going to get worse, and he hates holding on cash. But recently, what's changed is he has become pro-crypto, pro-Bitcoin. He himself had bought Bitcoin. He has not disclosed how much he owns, but he has admitted he bought Bitcoin before. Today, he was asked about, again, crypto, which he refers to as digital gold, and he believes blockchain is great. And so many others are starting to have the same kind of, same kind of attitude towards crypto and blockchain, right? These guys, they don't care about price. Not like retail investors, not like the fudsters, the haters that I was talking about, right? Who are focused on day-to-day price, but not like someone like Ray Dalio. He has all the money in the world already, but what he's looking at is the bigger macro picture of dollars, the Fed, the economy, and all this stuff. And what he's liking is crypto now. And that's important. And many others will follow. And many others have already gone in his footsteps. But, it's very encouraging to see him in front of all these major players at this World Economic Forum and him sharing his feelings and attitude towards Bitcoin and crypto. So, again, very positive. Still very early. Miami Mayor Suarez also at this event told he takes his salary in Bitcoin. Right now, he's the exception. Obviously, not everyone can survive taking their entire salary in Bitcoin and not selling it off. But many, again, has come to see the light of Bitcoin, right? And Miami Mayor Suarez is not the only one. The new New York City mayor also very pro-crypto. And many other cities in the United States have turned pro-crypto as well. So these are all very positive things, right? Still shows how early we are, but we are definitely growing by leaps and bounds right now. All right, what else is there that's very positive? If you look at the stock market, I know that there's this correlation. At times there isn't, at times there is. Tomorrow's looking positive, but many people have been speculating on where bottom is, not just for Bitcoin, but the entire market. And someone posted this. If you look at all these major tech companies, the FANG stocks, like Apple, Microsoft, Meta, Amazon, Netflix, and NVIDIA. NVIDIA is misspelled. They're all pressing against this multi-year trend line. Every single one, right? So does that mean a bottom is near? At least for the tech sector, at least for NASDAQ. Many people argue, no, it's going to get much worse. Recession is coming. And we will see much further downside for the remaining years. But there are some that are starting to buy, thinking that, no, it's not going to get as bad as people think. And when everyone is fearful, you want to do the opposite, which is to buy. When everyone else is talking about selling, that's when you buy, right? So is this a bottom indicator that these companies are now hitting their multi-year trend line that goes all the way back? Some of these goes all the way back to 2009. Some of these goes back to 2010, 2015, and so forth, right? Does this mean a bottom for NASDAQ and for the major tech companies? Are they ready in? Only time will tell. But how this relates is people want to know about Bitcoin's bottom. And here's a new one. Here's a new chart that shows that Bitcoin, going back to 2014, has been in this channel. And you could see what's different about this one is it's actually measuring the days too. From the bottom back in 2015 going to the bottom 2019, approximately 1,200 days. Okay? And guess what? Approximately 1,200 days since that bottom in 2019 till now. And we just so happen to be on the bottom of this channel as well. So again, was that 25, that dropped to 25,000 recently, was that the bottom for Bitcoin? There have been so many of these models, so many of these indicators that show that Bitcoin is or near at its bottom. Right? And we have not gone any lower, despite the fact we have been going sideways and people are getting discouraged and we are in extreme fear level. Bitcoin is still holding right around 29,000, 30,000, right? So is this an indicator of bottom? Because if you look at the previous bottoms, like the one in 2019, you'll notice that it didn't just spike up immediately. There was no V-shaped recovery. We were there for many months. So does that mean we could go sideways here? We have been going weeks here, right? Could we just go sideways for months before we get that recovery? It could happen. And in 2015, again, we had that bottom, but we didn't just spike up. It still took weeks before it started coming up. So again, I guess we won't know for a couple more weeks or maybe a month or so, right? But no one knows. No one knows where top or bottom is. That's why we follow the one strategy that works, and that is to DCA. And basically, you keep DCAing. You do it for the long haul. You set a schedule, and you keep going. Your dollar cost averaging your price. And if you're buying on the way down, well, then you're bringing your cost average down, right? So that is the way to find true bottom. But there are so many metrics out there that is indicating a Bitcoin bottom, right? But just because you find a bottom does not mean that you just V-shaped recovery back up. We're not just going to V-shape back up to 69,000 overnight. That's not going to happen. Sometimes these bottoms take a while, take months before we recover. So we may have had it already. We just haven't gone through enough time yet. So there you go. Now, there are other indicators. There's a lot of indicators, a lot of models. Here's one, a HODL wave, basically showing whenever you have a large amount of holders and accumulation, good things happen. Again, back in 2015, look at that huge hill of hodling, right? And at that peak, that's when Bitcoin started rallying up. Same thing. In 2019, you see that huge peak of holders accumulating. That's when we have run up. 2020, same thing happened, right? And look at right now, you have that giant mountain of accumulation that's happening. So again, is this the bottom indicator? Yes, it certainly looks like it. Now, we don't have that huge mountain like some of the previous times, but you can definitely see we are building up very, very quickly, right? So that's also very positive. There are other things too. Here's another one, SOPR, that's measuring long-term holders. And again, look at where the arrow is or look at where the hand is pointing to, right? Whenever you fall below 1 on this chart or this metric, that indicates a bottom, indicates long-term holders taking over, short-term retail sellers or retail traders gone. And whenever that happens, you form a bottom and you start going. But again, bottom doesn't always come immediately. But this does show you, again, another one of those metrics that show that bottom is in. And finally, this one looks at 2014, 2019, 2022, and how after you have found bottom, you have this accumulation stage. I mentioned about those months where Bitcoin gets stuck in, right? It happened in 2014, 2015, happened 2019, right? Are we seeing that right now? Are we just going sideways now? After forming that 25K bottom, now we're just going sideways around 28, 29, 30 for a month or so, quite possibly. And we're following those same patterns. After we get out, that's when we're going to see a major recovery. So there you go. A lot more goodness. I mean, yes, we are speculating whether or not it's a bottom. No, we won't know until Bitcoin goes a lot higher. Then we will have confirmation, right? But the major things that I measure, the growing adoption of fundamentals, right? The growing number of holders, the growing number of addresses, the growing number of miners and hash rate and accumulation. These are things that are important, and they're all still heading higher. That is why I remain bullish. And all these guys that say, George, you need to turn bearish before things could recover. That's nonsense, okay? That's nonsense. I'll leave it to others to turn bearish. I'm not going to turn bearish. I'm going to stay bullish. Yes, I am. All right, now besides Bitcoin, just a few other crypto altcoin news. Brave browser, which is what I'm using, they added Solana now. So obviously over the years, they've been adding more functionality. They have their own DEX, they have their own search engine, right? They still have their digital ads that still rewards people for viewing ads using basic attention token, but now they're adding Solana support. So this not only helps them, but also Solana. Solana is definitely still growing their ecosystem. Polygon is still growing as well. eBay launches Wayne Gretzky's NFTs. I have no idea why eBay is doing it. You would figure someone, I don't know, maybe like Chili's or someone else would be doing this, but no, eBay is doing this. So if you're a hockey fan, you could grab some Wayne Gretzky NFTs on Polygon, and Polygon does have very large number of NFTs and marketplaces within. So that's also very good for Polygon. And then lastly, just to give you an update on Luna, you know, the one guy that went to knock on Do Kwon's door and his spooked his wife. Well, that guy ended up getting arrested. So supposedly, even knocking on someone's door is somehow illegal in South Korea. So he has been arrested for that. He turned himself in. And I didn't know this, but I guess he filmed himself doing so. And he had a small number of watchers watching. And basically, he was just saying he wants to talk to Do himself and want to know what's going on after losing $2.4 million. So I don't think that's unreasonable, but of course, you don't want random people showing up at your house. So I get that. But that vote is still ongoing for the rebirth, they named it, for Terra 2.0. And, almost 80% have voted, and still out of the 80%, 67% is saying yes. I'm still not a fan of this, but at this point, I just don't see how there's enough votes to go against the yeses at this point. So I guess we will wait and see if this gets approved. This will happen in 3 days. The voting ends in 9 hours, but this fork will happen on the 27th. Whether you or I or anyone else wants it, it's going to happen in 3 days, and we'll see what happens after 3 days. All right, that is pretty much it overall. Bitcoin, like clockwork, is coming back up. Not a surprise, because all the previous times within the last 2 weeks, we have seen it fall down to about 28, and then it recovers back up, gets the same point, recovery back up, and now we're seeing more of the same. So can we see 30,000 right around the corner once again? Sure we can. But it's important to stay strong, stay focused, and ignore the FUD at this point, because there are a lot of FUD, a lot of people spreading FUD, because they have given up hope. But you don't want to fall for that. You want to ignore that and continue the course and continue your way to life-changing wealth. All right, let's do some Q&A. Tiberius, welcome back. Tiberius has been on a crypto detox to save your sanity. Well, I'm glad you did that, because, man, it has been insane the last few days, to say the least. Please explain, Michael is asking, the mechanics of Luna fork on May 27th, how this could increase token value. Is it possible for Do Kwon to both burn trillions of tokens and take a reinvented Luna to 50 cents? Michael, having a fork does not increase token value at all. That's the biggest problem. So what he's trying to do is, once you fork and get airdrop tokens, you can't spend it. Most of it's locked in. Now, he did make some exceptions where I think 30% of, if you're a previous Luna holder, 30% will be unlocked, 70% will be locked from 1 year to 2 year. Same thing with UST holders. 15% gets unlocked, and then remaining is unlocked between 1 to 2 years. So his way is to create value by forcing people to not sell, to lock it in. But that's not sustainable long term. Why Terra had any value at all was because UST was dominating on the DEXs. It was widely used and adopted by a lot of people. Now you have this new token that won't have the same use case. And will it be used? I don't know. I don't know. So, Michael, to answer your question, it really doesn't add any value. And there's no talk about burning either. Crypto Migrant. Thanks for your constant positivism. On our side, we hold on. We consistently DCA into great projects. Average middle class, crypto immigrant, librarian, or libertarian, humanist, young family hoping for the best. BDC to the moon. All right, well said. And thank you for that. Well said. And I'm glad you are staying strong, my friend. Let's see here. What about Anchor? I've noticed Anchor was pumping up recently. Really no reason for that. I guess people stopped pumping Luna, so they're pumping Anchor. But, I don't know what's going to happen with Anchor with Terra 2. Whether or not they go migrate Anchor over or what. I've heard about Anchor possibly moving to another chain, like Binance Smart Chain. But I don't know what's going to happen to Anchor. Are they going to have a new Anchor? Are they going to still have Anchor on Terra Classic and pay out 20% APY? These are things that Doe has not discussed. So I don't know. I don't know. Darius Raven, when Alchemy Pay goes live on KuCoin tonight at 3 a.m., do you think it could hit 12 cents? I don't know. Don't ask me questions like that. If it gets listed on KuCoin, it'll probably pump. But since people know about it, people are probably setting some sell orders. So, it may not last very long. And I don't know if it's going to go to 12 cents or not. But overall, I think Alchemy Pay is a decent project. Isn't half bad. And they help a lot of projects on-ramp fiat. Yeah. And they're a payment service too. What about people that bought Luna less than $1? There's a dedicated amount for them. But again, most of it's locked up. Do I play craps? No, I do not. Makes me nervous when news talks positively about crypto. There's actually no news that's talking positively about crypto. It's mostly on Bitcoin. But very little news is positive overall on crypto right now. Jeff, thank you for that. Favorite way to gamble? I like roulette. I like roulette and I like blackjack. With blackjack, you just gotta stay there for a very long time. And I hate playing with people. So sometimes I just go to a high roller table and just play a few hands. If I'm up, I just leave. George, how do you think crypto will behave in an actual stock market bear market? Well, that's happening already. NASDAQ is in a bear market. S&P is not. Dow Jones is not. But you could argue that we're doing pretty bad right now. U.S. stock market is tanking, right? And we are seeing effects of Bitcoin. Bitcoin has gone down, obviously, from its peak, but I do think Bitcoin has found the bottom because of the holders. You have very loyal holders that believe in Bitcoin, not only because it's going to come back in value, but people believe in what it stands for, right? Something that's created by a group of people to go against, central authority, to go against sovereign banks, and to go against inflation, right? Bitcoin was created after the last major recession in 2008 when the banks had to be bailed out. And Satoshi, whoever he or she or group, whoever they are, they created something for the people to go against that. So many holders, they're not just buying to hold for price appreciation, but they also really believe in it and really want to get away from all the corruption that's out there. So because of these things, Bitcoin will continue to go higher. Every single time we have some major correction, We get a lot of fearful people, but every time it recovers, it makes a new high. People forget about what happened before. There's FOMO. We get a new high, a new high, new high. Then we have a correction again, and it just keeps repeating over and over and over again. But the one strategy I've seen that works and works and works is just to have patience and continue to hold on DCA. B, please. Appreciate that. Tushig, new member, welcome. Which is the last day to buy Luna to qualify to airdrop? The 27th. 27 is when they're going to do the final snapshot. So if you buy it before the 27th, you'll get a little bit. You'll get a little portion of it. DJ G says, I think we should go all go hard on XRP. Well, I could help with that. I do have an educational video that no one else has. And it's probably the most educational Ripple/XRP video known to man. Chainlink is fixing to have some big things with staking. I mean, just to have staking would be huge. Because now you have a whole bunch of people that's holding Link that could stake and it helps drop, the liquidity out there. That's pretty positive. So we'll see. We'll see when they introduce that. Let's see a Scott Miner video. I have no Scott Miner videos. How much Luna did you have? I had a ton. Let's just leave it at that. I had a ton. The old saying, sell in May and go away, still rings true. Although we had a horrible April too, right? So that's the thing. Bitcoin never had in its history 8 straight down weeks, and that's exactly what we had. So we could argue we are living the worst correction we have ever seen in Bitcoin's history. Maybe not by percentage, but by time scale, right? We have never seen 2 straight months. Not 1 week of recovery, right? So that's why it feels so brutal, right? We haven't had any major recoveries or major rallies. We have, a little bit here or there, but unlike previous corrections, we would have like a relief rally, a relief week, and then people feel a little bit better. And even though we come back down, at least we have those relief weeks, right? But right now, we had 8 straight weeks of downs. 8 straight weeks. And altcoins have been decimated too. Even though Bitcoin seems to have found that bottom, altcoins have been losing more and more strength, which is why people are now telling me they recognize the importance of having a diversified portfolio following the 50-25-25 rule. But if we do get out of this, which we will, and we get out of this soon, right, then you guys can all say that you have lived through one of the worst, if not the worst, correction that we have seen for Bitcoin. And once you have gone through that, well, then you could really live through anything, and you will come out stronger. So that's the good thing that I could say that most of you guys will experience coming out of this. Because we haven't. Honestly, we never had 8 straight weeks of downs for Bitcoin. This is really the first time we have seen this. Dalio said fiat money is trash. He's been saying cash is trash for a long time. He's the guy who coined that term. And he said it again today. If you talked about ApeCoin, going on the Avalanche as a subnet, I didn't hear about that, Rob. That sounds pretty important, but I didn't hear about it. Avalanche definitely needs a break right now. Avalanche has been so oversold. I think most people are just worried about Luna Foundation Guard selling off their $200 million worth of Avalanche. They oversold quite tremendously, but they are not going away. And if they're bringing more subnets in, DeFi Kingdoms are the very first subnet, and if they bring in, say, ApeCoin as a second subnet, that's very positive for them. Very positive. Crypto Migrant, again, thank you for that. ApeCoin DAO will shut it down. It's not going to pass. Do you think we're in a recession now? I don't know. You know, it's hard to say. I mean, I'm watching everything go down right now, right? Everything's going down. Bitcoin, crypto, stocks, all being hammered. But I look at some of the other investments out there, right? You look at real estate, has not really gone down yet. And you look at, like my friend is in sports cards, okay? Not really gone down, at least not the higher end stuff. The lower end stuff, yes, but the higher end stuff, still very in demand and still very valuable. People that trade Pokemon cards, still very valuable, right? And you look at, say, luxury items like watches, luxury high-end watches still have not gone down in value. So it's hard to say because some of the more liquid investments have gone down very, very fast. But some of the slower moving investments that are not as liquid, well, they're still holding very well. So it makes me wonder if we're going to get even more pain ahead because these things are still high, or the fact that maybe the rich just doesn't care. The rich has so much money, they bought into these things, and they'll never sell, so it doesn't really matter, and that is why the price still stays high, which means that recession or economic slowness is not going to be as bad, right? So, I mean, you could look at it a number of ways. So I don't know if we're in recession yet. There's definitely economic slowness. That's for sure. There's no doubt about it. But as for like a full-blown recession, I don't think we're quite there. And I don't know if we're ever going to get there. Your reaction, thoughts on Steve Kerr comments. I'm not sure which comments, but I'm probably assuming that you're talking about the shooting that happened in an elementary school in Texas, which is very, very sad. I mean, I didn't want to bring it up because I don't want to start any controversy, but it is very sad. Oh, Bitcoin just pumped above 30,000. You had 20 elementary kids shot and killed, and 2 or 4 teachers shot and killed by this 18-year-old. It's really tragic. I have young kids in elementary school. Me and my wife were just talking about before the stream. We can't even imagine what those parents are going through right now, right? So it's very, very sad. So Steve Kerr, I didn't see the whole thing, but he was talking about it. I think a lot of people are very emotional about it, but it's a very, very sad moment. Yeah, after that, I see the comments. Kind of hard to follow up that comment, but yeah, it's very tragic. It was very, very tragic. I don't know what else to really say about that situation. Hero off-duty cop got the shooter. In those cases, I honestly wish the shooter would get. Okay, I'm just going to end it there. I don't want to cause any more controversy by saying what I wanted to say, but yeah, they got the shooter. Market cap drops when people sell and goes up when people buy. It's not a correction, it's human behavior. Well, that's obviously when people are fearful, they sell. When they feel hopeful, they buy, right? But that's not what the big boys do. That's not what long-term investors do. They don't fall for the emotions like that. They don't follow the herd. A lot of them do quite the opposite. Contrarian kind of view, right? When there's a lot of fear out there, when a lot of people are panicking, what do? They buy. And when a lot of people are saying that it's going to keep going forever, they sell and take profits, right? So that's what the big boys are doing. And that's what we need to follow, or ignore that and just continue to DCA. Bid Moon, appreciate that. When are we hitting Vegas and playing some roulette? Hopefully I can still do something with GeorgeCon. Hopefully by February. You know, if I do have it in Vegas, I did want to have like a private poker party for people that like poker, you know, poker tournament. That would be really cool. But I don't know if I can have it in Vegas. It just seems like it's such a pain to deal with those hotels. It's funny. I'm not trying to say this as a flex, but you know, today I saw a comment in one of my older videos, I think from yesterday's video. You got these guys that's trying to troll on me, and one of the guys like, yeah, I don't hear George talk about his Ferrari order anymore, so I think he lost so much money he had to cancel it. And then someone else chimed in and says, well, that's fake. You can't order a Ferrari without having a Ferrari, so that's a fake story. I'm like, dude. When people are down, the market's down, right? No one wants to see anyone flex. Of course, I'm not going to talk about that. I'm not going to talk about any of the nice things that I may have ordered and stuff like that. It doesn't help anyone, but there are some people that wants to spread misery, so they want to pick at any little thing they can, because that's how miserable they are, okay? And I'm only saying that because I just found out of all the things you could have said, you could have nitpicked on based on what I have said or done in the past, they focus on that, right? I'm like, come on, dude. Come on, dude. And to the second person that says, oh, you can't order a Ferrari without having a Ferrari. First of all, I did have a Ferrari. And second of all, that's not true. That's just something, that's just cap from someone that has no clue about how to order an exotic car. So just to throw those two things out there. All right, guys, I'll let you go. Stay strong, my friends. Bitcoin is coming back up to 30,000 like expected, right? So hang in there, have patience. We're still going to get a lot of volatility, a lot of FUD, okay? But things will get better. And let's see what happens this Friday after options and futures expiration expires. Can we see that major rally up, maybe even get to 34,000, because that's where max pain is by Friday? We will see. All right, guys, smash a like, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you guys tomorrow, 8:15 a.m. Central Standard Time. All right, take care, guys. Bye-bye.